Someone wanted to see this. I don't know Defunct Land. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know Action Park. At least I don't think.
Anna Gilligan is there this morning. Hello, Anna.
You're at Action Park.
So I gotta ask you because
That's a cool name, Action Park. Actually, is this the one where the kid got decapitated?
Some people got injured.
No, I don't think so. Actually, I'm pretty sure that was a local park. Yeah, no, this is not the one. There was a water park that was so dangerous. One of their slides, a kid got decapitated, and his head rolled down the slide and blood spewed all over the slide. Though, I mean, the video doesn't have any of that. It just has, like, the aftermath, but that's how fucking wild that park was. It's not this park. It's not this one. I can already tell you it's not this one, because it was, like, a really small local water park.
I also have a picture showing a mother controlling the sled with an infant in her arms. It's that easy. After the success of the slide, Mulvihill went forward with his plans to expand.
Sorry to pause it right away, but I think someone just got it. I think that's the one. It was called Schlitterbahn. Wait, is this place still open? Schlitterbahn is the ticket to summer fun in Texas. What the fuck? Oh man, it's like a whole brand in Texas. How do you keep a water park open when one of your fucking attendees gets decapitated? On August 7th, 2016, a 10-year-old child, Caleb Thomas Schwab, son of Kansas Representative Scott Schwab, was decapitated in the park while riding the Verr&uuml, a water raft ride touted as the world's tallest water slide, and Schwab died before reaching the bottom. Two other unrelated riders in the same raft sustained injuries, and the ride was decommissioned and later demolished. The park settled with all parties in 2016. In March of 2018, a Wyandotte County grand jury filed indictments against the park and 3 park employees, including the park's co-owner, Verr&uuml's designer, and a former park executive. Where were we? Oh, the indictment accused the park and its employees of negligence as well as concealing design flaws and other issues with the ride. On February 22nd, 2019, all charges were dropped by the Judge Robert Burns? What do you mean, the charges were dropped? Oh, I guess the kid wasn't decapitated. What? That's fucking crazy. Oh, there's 2 deaths at this park. On March 6, 2013, Nicholas Nico Benavides, a 20-year-old seasonal employee at Schlitterbahn, was fatally injured when an overhead gate slammed down and pinned him. He was left on life support for organ donation and later died. Okay, so that wasn't necessarily, like, the ride's fault. That sounds really unlucky. But, I mean, the decapitation of the child is direct result of how bad that ride was designed. Here's a picture of it. I remember watching something on this. I think it was like the year after it happened I heard about it, but this ride right here was fucking nuts. If I remember correctly, what happened is he was going down, and I don't think you can see it here, but there's like some like overhang wire or some shit, and I guess they caught like a jump, so he went airborne a little bit and then got decapitated somewhere over here, and then his body and head just kept rolling down. It's fucking nuts. I don't know how Schlitterbahn is still open after that. I cannot fucking... Do we have any Schlitterbahn enthusiasts in here? Have you been since?
Resort into a water park.
Yeah, I've only been to like a water park once or twice in my life. Super painful.
More slides, a softball field, a tennis court,
always hated
and a
it,
swimming
and it's
pool
gross.
were added shortly thereafter.
I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
It's like coming to Broadway. It's wonderful.
What do you mean? Wait, what?
Race like a pro.
God damn it, where is she? You're telling me great grandmammy Ruth is somehow ripping and roaring down Action Park's water slides? I don't know how many of you go to water parks, but that shit is so fucking painful. Like, there's just barely enough water on those slides so you don't actually, like, skin yourself alive and get, like, flogged by the course. Damn. That's an extreme grandma.
Not only was it one of the first water parks of its kind in the United States, Motorworld consisted of 3 types of attractions: land, water, and air rides. On land was the popular battle action tanks. For an additional
That's
fee,
pretty
guests
cool.
could ride inside tanks equipped with tennis ball cannons.
That's pretty
The goal was
fucking
to
cool.
shoot the other tanks in the caged area on one of their targets.
I don't
The
care
same
how
unit
dangerous it
cannons
was.
for
Reopen
15
it. I'm in.
seconds. The other two
After
land-based
this.
Motor World attractions were the Lola cars and the Super Go-Karts.
Oh,
Both
here
of which
comes
were kart race attractions.
the
The
sneeze.
Super Go-Karts were driven on a small loop. The carts themselves
What
were
the
designed to
fuck?
max out at 20 miles per hour, but the employees
Getting, like,
found that sticking
YouTube
a tennis
pranked by
ball
a
to the governor
sneeze.
device allowed the cart to go. These were boats placed in a small pool and were designed to withstand guests crashing into one another. These were known to leak gasoline, which once required a guest to be examined after too much fuel leaked on their skin. The
Oh,
boats
nice.
were also incredibly small, and riders with long legs had to position their feet off the side of the boat.
This place does look fucking
This led to
awesome, though,
injuries
to
and
be
bone
fair.
fractures after collisions. Interestingly, Action Park also had an attraction entitled the Action Park Gladiator Challenge,
What?
partially based off of the popular American Gladiators TV show. This included obstacle courses and jousting matches against the Action
This
Park
sounds like the
Gladiators.
best park of all
Finally,
time.
Action Park had its own. Moreover, where are the water slides?
Yeah, if they just got rid of Waterworld, everything else seems
This section put
perfect.
the action in Action Park. It was home to the tidal wave pool, a 100 feet by 200 feet pool that could hold anywhere between 500 and 1,000 people. The pool's floor was slanted, and the further guests went in it, the deeper it got. Waves went 20 minutes on, 10
There's
minutes
nothing
off,
more
and they could reach
uncomfortable than,
height
like,
of
a
over
communal
3
pool
feet.
like
This
that.
was challenging for swimmers
Piss
of all
and
skill
shit all
levels,
over the place
as the
in the
pool was
water.
hard to read, and this spring-fed pool was so
Thanks to
cool
give
that
some Julian.
lifeguards would have to rescue guests that could not swim after the shock of the cold water. This was also a popular attraction for men to pull down their pants or women to pull up their tops for the line of people to see. The appropriately named Aqua Scoot gave guests a
Of
sled,
course.
with which they would slide down in
That's
a
what I wanna do,
Sunday
show my
line
dick
style
to a
roller
bunch of
coaster
kids at a
hurtling into
water
shallow
park,
pool
yeehaw.
that they would skip across. The diving cliffs had two jumping bases, one 23 feet and the other 18 feet tall, with the pool below being 16
This park is
The pool was
fucking
also for
nuts. It's like
non-jumpers,
something I'd
some
make
of
in
which were
Roller
unaware of
Coaster
the cliffs,
Tycoon.
which resulted in collisions. There
I'll
was
just
only
have a
one lifeguard on
500
duty,
foot
who had to work
dive into
extra hard to
shark
make
infested
sure that
water.
No one was at the bottom of the pool. The kayak experience was pretty self-explanatory and used underwater fans to simulate water rapids.
And
This was
absolutely
dangerous,
alligators.
but that goes without saying at this point. A similar ride, the Roarin' Rapids, allowed guests to ride in a 1 or 2 person raft down a similar river. The Surf Hill had riders slide down a multi-laned, multi-hill slide on a mat.
God damn,
Riders could
that seems
easily
nuts.
cross over to the adjacent lanes and
Oh,
cause
never mind.
collisions. And the 7th hill, nicknamed
Pretty
the
lame.
Backbreaker, had an additional hump that would send riders flying.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah.
The Colorado River Ride was
Fuck
another
yeah.
ride, this time
Holy
allowing up to 4
shit.
people. As many of the other attractions were poorly crafted by designers that were less than engineers, and most were designed to minimize cost rather than maximize safety.
And
The rides
maximizing
became even
fun.
more
Like,
dangerous
these
when
rides
paired
look
with the fact
fucking
that the park sold
cool.
alcohol at many of the convenience stands, often to minors.
These are some
There was even a
Imagineers.
microbrewery near Motor World.
Drink, including an authentic German brewery. Come to Action Park.
Honestly,
because the
Action
rides
Park has
are
it
the
all.
Only thing that's great. Labor Day
Only
Public
6
Festival,
deaths were
September 6th
recorded
and
here.
7th.
Reopen.
The majority of those employees
I
were
wouldn't go,
teenagers
but the
and were
existence
not
makes
equipped
me
to handle
happy.
the rowdy guests at the park. On July 8th, 1980, a male employee was riding the Alpine slide when his cart went off the track. He hit his head on a rock during the crash, killing him. He was only 19. 2
Damn,
years later,
shit.
on July 24th, 1982, a 15-year-old guest was overcome by the waves of the tidal wave pool and drowned. On August 1st, a mere week later, a 27-year-old guest was riding the kayak experience when he was trying to re-enter his kayak after falling out. When doing this, he made contact with the live wiring that powered the underwater fans.
Oh!
The electrocution sent him into cardiac arrest, and he
What
passed
the
after being rushed
fuck?
to the hospital. 2 years later, in 1984, a guest died on the Tarzan swing after a heart attack, supposedly due to the unexpected shock from the cold water. That same year, on August 27th, a 20-year-old drowned in the tidal wave pool. And on July 19th, 1987, another guest drowned there, giving it the nickname the Grave Pool. These deaths are tragic, and often overshadowed
Yeah, that's
by
the worst
legacy
place
and
to
legacy
die,
of
surrounded
Action
by other people's
Interestingly
piss.
enough, Action Park
Your-
was able
your
to avoid
sarcophagus
many
becomes
lawsuits
a
with these
literal
deaths and many
toilet.
other injuries, due
At
in
a
part to its
communal tidal
reputation
pool.
and also
Holy
the lax
shit.
regulations new
Get wet. Get wet. Action Motors. Feel the thrill as you zoom
Fuck!
past a black hole.
I want to get wet and wild. Let's fucking go!
While the
low. The
Yeah.
local ER, on the other hand, said that they would have to treat 5 to 10 guests on some days. In response to the high amount of guests visiting the hospital, Action Park bought
What are you
Verr&uuml
complaining about? You're making a lot of money off that.
Despite all of these
5 to
issues,
10 guests
the
a
downfall
day?
of Action Park wouldn't come until 1990. 2 years later, in 2014, Mountain Creek was rebranded back to Action Park. The park reopened
Yeah.
many of its classic attractions and started construction on new, terrifying ones. The Sky Caliber was another attempt at a 360-degree vertically looping water slide,
Fuck
although it used
yeah.
technology to enhance safety. From my knowledge, it is yet to open at the park, and there's almost no information on its status. The fact that it was referred to as Traction Park or Class Action Park doesn't matter, because its inherent
That's a cool
danger is
name,
more of a
Class
fond memory
Action
to the
Park.
majority of
That's
its
pretty good.
visitors. The burns, bruises, and the fractured tibias were a rite of passage for its former guests.
Yeah.
You
Do we have
think
any
you're cool
Action
because
Park
you
survivors
survived
in
a
the
tame
chat?
roller coaster at Disney in California or at Universal in Florida? Well, welcome to Vernon, New Jersey. Were you able to survive Action Park?
That was super fucking cool. It makes me want to go to Action Park. God damn. Oh, History of the Jaw. Fuck, I'm gonna go down the goddamn defunct land rabbit hole. I already know it now. But I rode this ride quite a bit. I used to live in Orlando when I was younger, so I used to go to Orlando sometimes. I used to go to Universal sometimes. The Jaws ride was really fucking awful. It was so boring. It was super boring. How many of you ever rode this ride? You probably don't remember it because it was really fucking boring.
To all of you Disney fanatics that don't care about
Makes it tier
Universal
1, Jimmy.
Studios, stick with me, because there will be plenty of Disney history weaved throughout this story.
Universal
let's
is
get
so
into
much
it.
better than
In the
Disney, though.
mid-1960s,
Disney
Universal,
fucking
who
sucks
at the
unless you
time
just
was owned
love
by
Disney
multimedia
movies.
company MC. This began
Thanks
the
to resub
ongoing
Nut,
feud between
Hyper,
Universal Studios
Crispy,
and Disney. I won't dive fully
and
into the
Peak.
feud, as I would be touching on the
I
history
always
of
watch
future
Ordinary
defunct land
Sausage.
attractions, but just to give you an idea, yeah, they're basically the same thing. So Disney MGM
Except
Studios
Universal's
began
much better.
construction in 1980. However, luckily for Universal and MCA, they had recently found a developer for their Orlando park. They had also found a creative partner, Steven Spielberg. That's
Hey,
right.
good
If you watched
guy.
the first episode
Good
of
guy to
Defunct
have on
Land,
your
you'll
team.
remember that George Lucas, the creative head of Universal
Jaws was one of
Studios
the first
Florida,
ones? I
was
didn't know
former
that.
Disney Imagineer and Steven Spielberg's college roommate, Peter
Ride sucks.
Alexander.
Sucked.
Universal had no
That now.
experience creating. The original Jaws ride took guests on a pontoon boat captained by a employee who would guide the boat on a tour of Amity, the town in Jaws.
Yeah.
And shockingly, the guests spot a
Shark! 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 Shark!
The most
The
exciting
shark
thing that
would
ever
then
happened
stalk
on
you
this
for the rest
ride
of
is
the
when I
ride,
almost fell
even
off.
appearing in the boathouse
That's
that you're
literally
hiding
the
out in.
only like
In the
exciting
first
moment
version
of
the
this ride I
at
ever
one point,
experienced.
the robot's shark teeth would sometimes damage the boat because for some reason they used real shark teeth. In the finale of the original ride, the skipper would shoot the shark with a grenade launcher. It would then explode and chunks of shark would fly out of the water.
Yeah, I remember
They would
that.
fly out of a small air cannon and then would be filtered back in and recirculated. It was an impressive ride, but did it work as they had planned? No.
Fuck no.
The answer is no.
That shit. When you got on the Jaws ride back in my day, what you were doing is just taking a boat ride to just relax. Literally nothing would happen, and half the time your boat guide wouldn't say a word. This shit was terrible. Jesus Christ! Good lord!
MGM Studios, and a year later,
What they should have done is just put
Studios
real
Florida
sharks
opened
in
on
there.
June 7th,
Fuck it.
1990. Opening day was a star-studded
Not that they
event.
do anything,
Celebrities
even if
such
they
as
were real, I
Sylvester
mean,
Stallone,
just
Steven
fucking swim
Spielberg,
around.
and Bill Cosby were in attendance. And Jaws had to shut down due to a thunderstorm after a few hours of operation.
Oh, no.
Steven Spielberg was rumored to be stuck on the ride during this time. The following few days of opening did not go much better. Jaws was still not operating correctly.
Good.
One skipper was on top of this. They would be faced with a lawsuit as during one voyage a guest fell off the boat
Yeah.
and into the water with Jaws. He was on a family trip with his children. They
Yeah.
were obviously mortified that their father would be eaten. Worse, he fell in one of the 10 feet deep areas where the sharks are held. The other areas of the ride were
Oh,
only 4
fuck.
feet deep. If you haven't figured it out already, this means that he was incredibly close to the mechanics of the ride. He even recalled that the shark was swimming right toward him. When the
God
employee managed to
damn.
get him back on the boat, the other guests clapped, thinking it was all just part of the show. He sued Universal for $1 million.
That's it?
This along with the fact that the
I'd go for
ride shut
10.
down almost like this. If we had built something like this for Disneyland, Disneyland maintenance would have
Oh.
taken it over and made it work. Oh
A
no,
dagger.
they didn't. Universal was now determined
Thanks,
to get
Teresa.
Jaws
Knock
operating
Lucy,
correctly
Taco,
as
and the
soon
Prime
as possible.
Muscles.
And after more delays and more problems, they
I have
finally
seen those,
settled on a
Furby.
1993 opening date. They hired Totally
Yeah, it's at
Fun
the end,
Company
Yoga.
to redesign the ride.
My
A
favorite
company
ride at
started
Universal
by
is Men in
Peter
Black.
Alexander. They were using the term technical rehearsals until
Thanks, Teresa.
1994.
Absolute. And the bit cigarette. I mean, it was a dog shit ride, though.
No survivors. And you thought this only happened.
Man, I can't believe that dude fucking fell out into the mechanics.
Studios
That's nuts.
So the final
Hopefully he
version
got
of
his
the
$1 million.
attraction went like this. First, every year the attraction was drained, and the Department of Environmental Protection was tipped that oil and other toxins from the ride were being irresponsibly disposed of, which essentially just meant that they had to change their fuel type and do a lot of paperwork. In 2004,
I like the idea that they're just poisoning the
gas
water, though.
prices to increase in. So why was it closed? Unlike other defunct land entries, this one is pretty simple. Harry Potter. The franchise was going to and
Really?
did save Universal's attendance numbers, and Jaws was replaced with the Diagon Alley attraction, Harry Potter and the
Wait,
Escaping
what?
Gringotts. And the short scene during the tram tour is still operating.
I thought it was just because it was so fucking boring
So
they
that
said
is
fuck
the
it.
history of Jaws the ride. As always, to learn more about where the remains of Jaws are today,
Yeah, no, that ride
how I'm going
sucked.
to get them back, and where I will place them in defunct land, please
Kind of nostalgic though to see it operating.